historically, we've tried a lot of terrorists in our courts. We have them in our federal prisons. They've never escaped. And these folks are no different. But it's been one of those things that's been subject to a lot of, in some cases, pretty rank politics.
All right, it's the Savage Nation. Welcome to the program. We have President Obawa. I've given him a new name because he seems to have a problem with bowing. He bows to the King of Saudi Arabia, bowed to the Premier of Japan, bowed to the Premier of China, and astonishingly the other day in Tampa, Florida, President Obawa bowed at the waist to the mayor of Tampa. It's shocking, astounding how this man is servile to foreign leaders and to women mayors, but hostile to the actual American people. So we're going to affectionately name him President Obawa. In the last soundbite in the Savage Nation, you heard President Obawa bowing down to Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and saying he deserves all the protections of the United States Constitution. Now, I've heard all the liberal arguments about this. The arguments go like this. Well, we have to show the world that we're superior to them. We have to show all those bad Arabs what democracy really is. And so we're going to afford them all the protections of the ACLU. We're going to give them the Lawyers Guild. We're going to give them every protection. We're going to give them halal meals and Qurans and all the good stuff. But we're going to take our U.S. Marines and try them in Iraq for committing war crimes against Iraqi murderers. We're going to take our Marines and send them to trials in Iraq and not give them the same benefit of the doubt that this President Obama or Obawa is giving to Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. Now, I ask you something. Tell me what's wrong with this picture. When ultra-liberal Senator Charles Schumer says, no, we don't want to give him a civilian trial in New York City, but President Obawa, who refuses to learn what happened in, where shall we start? New Jersey, Virginia, Massachusetts, and maybe today, where the election is taking place in Illinois, the man refuses to recognize the world he is living in, continuing to push forward ideas that are still popular in the far reaches of the academic left, but not at all popular anywhere in the United States of America except on certain cable channels where people urinate on themselves in the middle of a show and have to be mopped up by groomers. Now, this is the Savage Nation. I recognize that I'm trying to shock you, but I'm also telling you the truth. Make believe that I'm telling you the truth in a shocking manner, but it's still the truth. Here are some other headlines on the Savage Nation. Again, welcome to Extra Sports 860 AM in San Francisco, my new 50,000-watt flamethrower that is going to burn down the competition. We're going to burn down the interlopers who sound like Groucho Marx's mother after a hysterectomy, who pretend to be conservatives but were nothing more than flack lawyers for George Bush. Don't fool me. Don't call yourself a conservative when you worked inside the White House. You're nothing. You're a fraud, but you cashed in on a talk radio. I'm the real McCoy. That's why I have 10 million listeners. Anyway, 10 free books to the first 10 callers from 860 in San Francisco. I don't want to make the rest of the country jealous, but it's a new affiliate, and I've got to tell the people I'm back in a big way. Here are some of the other topics on the Savage Nation. If you get a call about President Obawa, the phone number is 1-800-449-8255. Here are the headlines on my website, michaelsavage.com. Almost 2 million listeners, 2 million uniques a month on this website. Here's the headline. From the LA Times, military yes men mimic Obama's do ask, do tell policy. That's right. Military yes men mimic Obama's do ask, do tell policy. Here's another headline from the Wash Times. Mercury in vaccines not linked to autism. A major British medical journal retracted the original flawed study that linked measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine to autism and bowel disease. They based it upon a small sample of 12 children at a birthday party, and they said that the vaccine contained mercury. It was false. It's a false scientific study along the lines of false global warming scare techniques. Well, now the British journal Lancet, a fine journal, I read it very often during my years working toward a Ph.D. in human nutrition and epidemiology at the University of California at Berkeley. Lancet is one of the top journals. They yanked the article linking mercury in vaccines or vaccines themselves to autism and other diseases. We also have a great story up on my website, President in the Rye, Barack Obama as Holden Caulfield. I started it last Friday, where I said I'm going to trace the long arc between the character and the catcher in the Rye, Holden Caulfield, and Barack Hussein Obama, who is still playing the adolescent outsider. I'll do a little bit more of that today. Next one, congressman who called Marines cold-blooded killers in intensive care. That's that. I have words for him I really don't want to use. He's in a hospital bed. That's for Representative John Murtha, who called the Marines cold-blooded killers. One of the biggest porkers in the history of Congress attacked the U.S. Marines. He is now in intensive care for gallbladder problems. I want to remind you that the gallbladder produces bile, and I suspect that this grotesque creature is overflowing with the substance from his own gallbladder. Also on the Savage Nation, largest ever federal payroll to hit 2.15 million employees. That's right, your friend Obama, from the far reaches of the academic left, has returned big government with a vengeance in the form of the largest federal workforce in modern history. What do they all do? Nobody knows. By the way, the Dems are going to tax the middle class to pay for their socialist programs. That's correct. You're going to get hit with it too, even if you're a liberal. Believe me. Harassment-free school opens in L.A. That's right. As early as the 7th grade, they can go to a school that serves lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and questioning youth. That is so wonderful. Why not bring it down to kindergarten? Because children, as you well know, in kindergarten know what their sexuality is. So why not put them in a nice, safe environment? You know the teachers in those schools are all safe. 12-year-old bride drops petition for divorce. Where is that coming from? Not from Texas. Not from New York. Where in the world would a 12-year-old girl who was married off to an 80-year-old man come from? Why, it's from that wonderful kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the land where women are treated so beautifully. It's interesting to me how women are put into full-body coverings by Muslims in countries like that, and how the feminists in this country are absolutely silent. How little 12-year-old girls are married off to 80-year-old degenerates, and not a word from the international women's movement. Interesting, isn't it? This is the Savage Nation. There's another article you must see. 3 children mauled by pack of escaped dogs in Southern California, not in Saudi Arabia. Escaped dogs became feral, ripped apart 3 children. Another dog story. Actress's boyfriend charged with beating her little dog. 6-pound dog beaten by a belt after this actress left town to go to work out of town. The boyfriend of the actress beat up this little puppy with a belt, blinded the dog, broke its ribs, punctured its lungs. What I'd like to do is see this bastard put into Pelican Bay, and I'd like to see the prisoners let loose on him for about 3 minutes. That would be justice served. But let's talk about justice not served, and that is giving Khalid Sheikh Mohammed a civilian trial in the United States of America as opposed to a military trial, which is, of course, what is appropriate for an enemy combatant. The phone number is 1-800-449-8255. I am Michael Savage. Let's go to Al in New York. Al, you think KSM should be tried in New York. Why so?
I think it should be hung in Times Square. If we have
I see. Not tried in New York, but hung in Times Square.
Hung in Times Square. And the reason Obama is doing it, he wants the whole world to listen to the platform of this sheikh, that he believes the same thing that sheikh believes, but he cannot say it in public. So
you actually believe that Obama's sympathetic to the radical Muslim cause? You actually believe that?
His belief is what this sheikh will speak on the platform. That's why he's working on all directions, even if it's bringing him down, because that's what he believes in.
I can't say he believes in that. I don't know. I can't say for sure. I don't know where his loyalties lie. I don't think he's that patriotic. I know he sat for 20 years in Reverend Wright's church, who railed against white people, America, etc., and he didn't say a word. So his loyalties should be questioned, as we did during the campaign. But I wouldn't go so far as to say that the Obama actually believes in what Khalid Sheikh Mohammed said. I believe he's part of the left-wing academic school that has no idea about the world that they live in. They have lived in the ivory tower so long that they don't know what the real world is, and they've never read nor seen Lord of the Flies. This is the Savage Nation. The phone number is 1-800-449-8255. MichaelSavage.com.